at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
En vivo desde Houston, la ciudad espacial. Esto es Now Media Televisión.
Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Purple Politics, hosted by political expert and commentator Alina Gonzalez-Dockery. Join us to discuss the most important issues affecting our nation with fresh, balanced, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Purple Politics starts right now.
Hello, and welcome back to Purple Politics. I am your hostess, Alina Gonzalez-Dockery. And today we will continue with more news on the Israeli-Hamas conflict and war. And we are going to also be discussing the latest round of votes for the Speaker of the House. But first, as President Biden leaves Israel in an unprecedented visit during an open war nation of Israel, he was able to provide stalwart confidence to the Israelis who were losing faith in their own Israeli defense and prime minister to state that the United States is and shall always stand by Israel. President Biden, regardless of what you may say about what his abilities as a speaker, which he's never been known to be a great orator, the one thing he has always shown, even as his time as Senate, is he is a great consoler. So our president went to Israel to provide stalwart confidence and support, and also to provide very meaningful prevention of further escalation on the northern borders of Israel by Hezbollah. And also, it is a clear indication to Iran to not tread on Israel. As the world was thrown into chaos and great anti-Israel sentiment grew, especially among the Middle Eastern Arabic countries, a bomb or a missile fell upon a parking lot outside of a hospital in southern Gaza. And with that, hundreds of people died. Of course, Hamas immediately went to blame Israel, stating it was an Israeli strike purported on an hospital target. However, President Biden, during his speech, stated that on independent Pentagon intelligence and satellite imagery from the pinpoint of that missile, it has been determined that the missile was actually from the Gaza side, that it was a misfired missile done by the Islamist Jihad, a group affiliated with Hamas, that misfired and struck this parking lot. In this conflict, in this continued humanitarian crisis, we are all struck by the deaths and loss of so many innocent civilians on the Israeli side as well as on the civilians of Gaza. We are not blind to the fact that there is continuing conflict and strikes. The Iron Dome lights up in the sky trying to shoot down missiles that are being projected from Gaza. Despite what either side would like to say, this is an incursion. This is a war, a battle that is being fought on both sides, missiles from both sides. Even to the point that there are German politicians and leaders that had to evacuate their plane just moments ago because the Iron Curtain was immediately set off or the Iron Dome, excuse me, not the Iron Curtain. That's a Steelers reference, but the Iron Dome was shooting down missiles as there was an attack leveled by Hamas into Israel. Now, President Biden was able to not only provide this support and give a show of allegiance and deterrence, or at least warning to deter any further conflict on other fronts against Israel. And despite the cries of down with America, hatred towards the Jews and to America that we are seeing in many protests, not only in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Jordan, but also on the Western countries as well. One thing that President Biden was able to do was get a confirmation to confirm negotiations of allowing for Israel to allow humanitarian aid to be brought through the Egyptian side of the border into Gaza to provide much needed food, water, and replenishment of medical supplies and medicines. Now, of course, Israel has stated that if they find that any of these supplies are given to Hamas, or as other UN supplies have been stolen before by Hamas, have been taken by Hamas, they will deal with that specific area as needed. But at this time, there will be a temporary cease to allow that humanitarian aid to cross into Gaza and to provide the people there the much needed resources that they need. Now, as President Biden was traveling or has traveled to Israel to provide that solidarity on the other side of a conflict that we have long since stopped talking about, which is the Ukrainian-Russian war, Vladimir Putin, in a very seldom seen trip, took a trip to meet with China's leader, Xi Jinping. This is a concerning and continuing bifurcation of relations between great powers of this world. Now, let's remember, Iran is now an instrumental partner of Putin's and of Russia in the continuing conflict and war against Ukraine that Putin himself had initiated, because Iran is providing weapons as well as monetary support to Russia's continuing conflict with Ukraine. China is also now partnering more and more with Iran for purchase of oil. These are all things that are supposed to be under strict sanctioning by the United States, sanctions that were so heavily regarded and taken during our previous presidential administration of President Trump, that it actually crippled economically Iran from becoming to show strength as it now does. So it also gains more questions, which this is a question that many of the Republican primary candidates are asking, and also the barbs at the current administration that they are throwing, is that that our current administrations lack or lackadaisical enforcement of these sanctions against Iran and their continuing negotiations with Iran has allowed Iran to amass a huge amount of monies and economic fortune because they are selling their oils to China and providing to Russia. So we currently are seeing this new axis of evil, if you will, to take a line from George W. Bush. But we are starting to see an alliance that is building between Iran, Russia, and China. And in that, there will be their efforts to grow their influence through BRICS, which is the Brazilian, Russian, Iranian, Chinese coalition to provide an economic pact that would compete and also potentially disrupt the Western world's economic ability to deal with fair trade and such. So one of the things that we have all seen is that since this horrific terror attack that occurred on Israeli ground is that we have now stopped talking or focusing on the Russian-Ukrainian war, which is still very much going on. It is still very much a huge issue, not only for future funding the Ukrainian side of the war, but also support. But what we're seeing is this Israeli conflict, this war, as Israel has declared, against Hamas, that this has further implications politically in the international world, because it is now starting to pit even more so Russia, China against the West, led by the United States of America. It also makes you wonder whether a president who is 81 years old is capable of continuing to provide the strength, conviction to lead the West into this next steps, this next generation, into trying to diffuse situation around the world, and also to provide the much necessary support to our allies to ensure that democracy and ethos continue. I will state this. I will be the first to say, yes, I question whether Joe Biden is able to perform the duties as president with the stress that occurs just on a peacekeeping time, much less when war is breaking out around the world. However, I will applaud and stand by my president because I do respect the office of the president. And we of the United States do need that unity. Whether he is the president come 2024 election, that is still up to us, the people, to determine. However, at this time, I implore all Americans, we need to unite. We need to fight for what is right and what is fair within our country, within our borders, but also within the international world. I am Alina Gonzalez Dockery. I will be returning with a special guest running for City Commission in Houston, Ivan Sanchez, right after this commercial break.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Welcome back. I am honored to have a special guest today join me, Ivan Sanchez, a dedicated commercial real estate lender, investor, and a community leader who is running for District J of the City of Houston. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you so very much for having Elaine.
Ivan, I see that you were a political science major, graduate from the University of Houston, and you have had a very interesting, if I may say, career path, if I may. Can you please tell us a bit of your background so that our viewers can get to know better their potentially future city commissioner?
Correct, and thank you so much, Elena, for having on the show. Buenas tardes a mi gente preciosa en las casas watching this. My name is Ivan Sanchez, running for Houston City Council District J, which is the southwest part of Houston, which includes Sharpstown, Brayburn, Westwood, and a part of Alief with Gulfton. But listen, we have chosen the color orange for this campaign because this side of town is in a state of emergency. But before I get to all that, let me kind of give you a background on how did a young Latino get involved in anything that is politics nowadays. So my mother brought me to this great country through no fault of my own when I was 6 years old. What happened is I was born in the country of Colombia, and right after Pablo Escobar was killed, all the gangs went even worse. Tripled, quadrupled their violence. My mother was a prosecuting attorney and my father was a geophysicist. And so as my mother was putting very bad people behind bars, her office was blown up. My father was kidnapped 4 times. And then when a letter came to my mom's office saying that next time you put the kids in the school bus, they're not coming back. Entonces, ¿qué va a hacer una Latina when she's pressed against the wall that much, between a hard rock and a hard place? She grabbed her kids and came to the best country in the world for the basic necessity of safety. It wasn't for economic purposes. It wasn't that for any other reason, but it was for the basic necessity of safety. So I saw a young Lina's mother with 3 kids, playing by the rules, starting from scratch in the country that gives opportunity. She enrolled at University of Texas School of Law, graduated. I'm going to try to make this real fast, right? Became the Columbia Chamber of Commerce president, wrote 3 books, started 3 companies. She was my superwoman. But when I was in high school, the typical Latino jokester, I was a straight D student. Basically, the only reason I graduated is probably because the principal wanted me out. So I made it out of high school, and 2 months after my high school graduation, she ends up passing away to cancer. Sorry about that. It got cut off. So she ends up passing away to cancer, and it leaves me in the state that when I picked up the dead weight of her head at the hospital, I vouched, como nosotros Latinos somos tan unidos, that I wanted to at least be half of who she was. My mother was an attorney, and let me clarify, I'm not an attorney, but the best degree to become an attorney was political science. So I was like, estos fofurofos with their trajes and corbatas, they don't care about us, but this is what I have to study to actually, go to law school. But in the process of this, I fell in love with the huge problems that there are in our community. For example, the United States is 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. I was like, hold on, isn't this the country of the free and the brave and freedom, liberty, and justice? So as I moved up my classes, I took this class called Hispanic Politics, where I learned that we Latinos were 45% of the population, but only 4% of our elected representatives. And I just fell in love with the issue. I became the student body president of my university afterwards. With sheer passion, I made a huge student voting movement, which former President Barack Obama gave me an award for it. And I was recruited into United States Congress, where I worked for 6 years. And the rest is history, Elena.
Well, that is an incredible history. And I can understand having that pride of being coming to this country, being able to live or realize an American dream. My parents are Cuban refugees. They left everything behind. And what they were able to build and to provide for myself and my older brother and sister is really what I find to be one of the biggest blessings that we have. And one of the things that was instilled in me, and which has obviously been instilled in you by the great example that your mother did, was that community, that ability to empower people, especially those that may not have as many opportunities or are already in a disadvantaged circumstances, to rise up and be able to do so. And, District J, which, obviously before we were on air, we talked a bit, you shared with me that District J was created in 2012 as a Latino district because of the 73% demographic, but it never had a Latino representative on city council.
Correct.
And so let me ask you real quick, what is it that you see for today? What are the challenges in this orange alert, in this high comm, we need to get things done to help this district? What are the biggest issues that are facing the families that live in your district?
Well, Elena, it's a 2-part question because you brought up District J. And so let me just clarify some points. In 2011, City Council noticed that City Council, made up out of 14 council members that sit in the horseshoe and the mayor, that we had 2 Latino representatives out of all of those folks. So they got together back in 2011, and for 2012, they created a Latino Opportunity District. This is not activist Ivan talking. This is official city code, just like African Americans have theirs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In order for it to be a X Opportunity District, it has to be X 65% or more. So they created District J at 73.3% Latino in 2012. The thing is that we're in a state of emergency, so much so that in 2012, out of 208,000 people that are in District J, again, 73.3% Latino, 208,000 people here, only 5,000 people voted. It is incredible that we come from different countries. We come from corrupt countries back in our homeland. We are scared of this government. We want to pay our taxes and be left alone, but we are so civically disengaged that now when even they try to cater to us, we've been losing. So that's a little bit of history of District J. So moving forward, right now, the thing is that the city of Houston made this district, now it's 61.1% Latino, because they know they have a strong Latino community leader like myself that is challenging the system. And because of the census, they decided to dilute this district. But that does not mean that we're going to give up in District J. Because as I started, Elena, this side of town has been neglected for a very, very long time. The biggest evidence is Sharpstown Mall, now called Plaza Americas. It's the first mall in the entire United States to have a central AC system, and look at it now. Our neighbors are even scared to go there. So the biggest issues, which fit my experience almost tailor-made. I've worked in the United States Congress for 6 years. I went back to Rice University. I got my development and investment commercial real estate certificate. And I'm also the founder of the largest youth empowerment millennial organization in the entire United States. So first, as a congressional liaison, as a person that has experienced the public sector, there's absolutely nothing more important than public safety. And let me talk about the statistics of what is actually happening on public safety. The FBI themselves have declared zip code 7781, 77036, 77081, 77074, 77031, the most dangerous zip codes in the entire city of Houston. And guess where that's it? It's almost tailor-made to be in District J. There was 342 more police officers 25 years ago than today, despite population growth of the city of Houston. District J by itself has Bissonnette and Richmond, which is bringing the entire city of Houston the reputation of being the sex trafficking capital of the United States. And if we don't speak out about this, you know there's going to be 11, 12, 13-year-old girls that are going to be continuing losing their innocence and a chance of life just because we don't want to talk about these issues and fight traffickers. Second of all, I've said that I'm a commercial real estate lender and investor. It is so very sad to see our crown jewel, Sharpstown Mall, be one of the malls that no one wants to visit because there's so much crime, because it is an ugly building, it is neglected and abandoned. And I have a full policy about how we're going to come and get the private sector and the public sector together to get things done and get it ready for a world stage as the World Cup is coming. That's $1.6 billion that's going to bump into our economy. And I know who watches soccer the most. And southwest part of town deserves that money, deserves that pride. So we're going to bring that. And third of all, as a community leader, they say something, Elena, they say, there's a quote that says, do something you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. It is such a disgrace that not only are we the sex trafficking capital of the United States, the most dangerous side of our city, but we're also the illegal dumping of the city of Houston. So ever since 14, 15 years ago, I've been cleaning up litter for fun as a community organizer. So what we need to do is clean up and beautify the city of Houston. And what I mean by that, when we're cleaning up, the other day, I went to the Bering Ditch, which is 3 streets away from where I live. I picked up 2,000 pounds of trash. And after 5 hours and a lot of labor, we noticed that there was anywhere from 10 to 12 layers of trash in our ditches, drainages, and bayous. So what I am asking before I get elected and go vote on a $12 billion bill or whatnot is do a very deep clean of our ditches, bayous, and drainages right before the hurricane season. And the part of beautification, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but is I want to plant 10,000 trees. I've been planting thousands of trees, again, for fun, but Gulfton, which is also part of District J, is called the heat island of the city of Houston because it's a concrete jungle. So those are the main issues, and that's how tailor-made my experience. I'm gonna come in here and with full heart, full all on the table. I'm not getting elected to make friends. In politics, I'm not running to enrich my friends. My family is making a hell of a lot more money than any of these politicians in commercial real estate. So I'm here to serve and to answer any questions because I am applying to be the next representative.
And I appreciate that. And we will be cutting to a commercial break. When we return, I will be asking Ivan more specifics as to what his plans would be to overcome these challenges and to revert this great community into a thriving economic area as well. We'll be right back. Thank you.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fitch. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Welcome back. And I'm going to continue my interview with Ivan Sanchez, running for City Commissioner of District J of the City of Houston. As you know, you've shared with us your obvious passion for this area and how to change the declining economic and criminal base that has been plaguing this community and the families for far too long. And it's very striking that in an area that was specifically created as a Latino redevelopment community, that there has never been a Latino who sat on city commission representing this area, which in my personal opinion is far too long. It needs to be done. So I want to pinpoint some of the biggest issues that occur in a local level is definitely crime and economic stability of families. Do you have, you stated that you had some vision and plans and policies that can build up that area economically. Can you share those with us?
So yeah, thank you so very much. And so I'm not coming here empty-handed. We do have a plan to bring safety. So every city council member receives $1 million that's called a constituent discretionary fund, in which we can do whatever project we wish out in the community, adding more speed bumps, lights, maybe fixing potholes. But I've been block walking since December, and my constituents out in Southwest are very aware of the high crimes that are happening. So what I've told the Houston Chronicle and different media sites, and now it's up in my website, is that I'm going to spend 65 to 70% of the discretionary funds to hire 2 full-time officers for every single neighborhood. 2 officers for Sharpstown, 2 officers for Gulfton, 2 officers for Brayburn, 2 officers for Westwood, which is a little part of A-Leaf right there too. However, we're going to spend about a good $700,000 on hiring these police officers. But they're not just going to be any police officers either. They're going to be peace officers and community police officers, meaning they have to come from the neighborhood. They have to know the members. I don't want to flood this minority community, especially immigrant communities, with just overly excessive force, right? They have to come from the communities to understand as well. Second of all, as I worked in the United States Congress, I know how to apply for federal grants to bring some more added security for police officers. So we're going to be doing that. And as a part of the economic development, is a lot of these businesses down here, especially like inside Sharpstown Mall, they are small businesses that are so small that they don't even have bank accounts. They don't take credit cards. They don't take Zelle or Cash App or any of this. So we're going to teach a lot of financial literacy classes, a lot of how to get your permits right, how to get a bank account, how to tie your Zelle and everything together to actually bring those businesses more business to them. But to the Sharpstown Mall itself, which is one of the beacons on my website that I'm showcasing, it is a lot about the aesthetics and getting the building ready for the private sector to actually like it. Paint the eyesore and parking lot that looks like a third world country. Get rid of those rusting signs that are off 59, Diciendo Plaza Americas, that look like been there for 25 years. No one's ever cleaned them. Plant some trees, put some, Christmas lights around the trees, pick up all the litter around, put some energy-saving LEDs on the mall, bring HPD as a storefront, teach financial literacy, like I said, and package them all to loopnet.com, which is the commercial real estate website, so they can actually attract bigger anchor tenants, so we can stabilize the mall, bring its NOI up, and then it'll be attractive to an investor, and we can actually rehab the entire thing and make it a glorious part of town once again.
Well, and just with, let's say, just with the plan of having that community policing efforts and presence, which, you know, we can all see the benefits. When you have low crime, that allows more businesses to want to invest, to come into that area. And having such, I mean, even though it may be outdated and dilapidated in some sense, to have that mall, which is right now ready, you know, it's easy enough to be able to modify it and to attract more. And with the financial literacy, how else do you see emboldening your community members to not only build their own entrepreneurial dreams and businesses, but also to empower them to realize their vote is so important? Because you stated earlier that this is, whether they're very disengaged, they're very disenfranchised from the voting process. How are you going to empower your constituents to come out for yourself, to vote for you or whomever, so that they realize this is their power?
So it's a two-step question. The first, how else can we economic develop? And I am a candidate that is supporting the Step Into Progress from the permitting center. We have a permitting center that has not been updated in God knows how many decades. And so now that the World Cup is coming, we're going to make it easier for investors and developers to get their permits right. Because any other city in any other world, when the World Cup is coming, they pump billions of dollars into infrastructure. And I don't see it happening here because of the entanglement that there is with the powers that be, just like at a bouncer at a club, right? Oh, they abuse their powers. As an investor myself, I've seen this personally. I almost lost my entire life savings about 4 years ago because of the bureaucratic system there is. So the two-step process is going to make it a lot easier to develop this side of town and for people to invest in this side of town or in the city of Houston. And second, you said about how to engage community members. Now, this is the $1 million question, because if I could answer this, I could be, you know, the next mayor of the city of Houston. But I am a private candidate right now. I filed my paperwork to run for office. There's 208,000 people here, 6,200 people that actually vote on the last election. So with limited resources, I'm tackling those 6,200 with laser focus. I've been block walking those 6,200 homes since December. I've touched every single one about 4 times now. However, when we are in power, because what the campaign was trying to do was trying to bring Becky G or Carol G for a massive free voting concert, which we could not afford her. But once we're in power, what I want to do is have a massive free concert to register people to vote. Anybody can come in for free. I want to call, like, a dream team for me would be like Bad Bunny and Los Tigres del Norte. So everybody can be entailed on any other age in there, and then have a follow-up concert to actually get the vote out. This is actually the same kind of strategy that I used when I was student body president, and how I got the recognition from President Barack Obama was through doing this type of work. So now imagine, 15 years ago, I was unempowered. Now I'm empowered, but imagine in power. we're going to go long ways, and we're going to wake up what they call the sleeping giant.
As an environmental advocate, I mean, you have planted personally 10,000 trees in the community and reviving and picking up trash from the gutters and such, which just on a personal level is incredible, especially the amount that you have done. As a city commissioner, what efforts or what plans do you have that can help assist in cleaning up the neighborhoods, cleaning up the city, or in this district more specifically, which would in turn attract more businesses and better economic opportunities?
Well, to be clear, I haven't planted 10,000 trees. That's the plan I want to do.
Oh, I apologize. I'm giving you more kudos than I was super impressed by that. I apologize.
I might be up to maybe 1,000 trees that I planted through just fun community efforts or whatnot. But the plan is when we're in power, I want to plant 10,000 trees. How do I do that? Well, it's making partnerships. We're not starting from scratch, ladies and gentlemen. This is working with the super neighborhoods. This is working with the civic associations. This is creating partnerships and being a true leader. With me and my organization, I'm just Ivan right now, and I have 9,200 members. Imagine when we have the actual resource and authority to become the third largest government city level in the most powerful country in the world. So we're going to bring a lot of people to help us plan this, and not only plant them, but fund them and take care of them afterwards through these coalitions that we're going to build. And it's a very similar answer to the cleaning up of our gutters, except that this is going to fight flood mitigation in another type of level. If there's 15 levels of trash in our gutters, ditches, or whatnot, I mean, imagine using the discretionary constituent funds or public works and letting them know, I need this dug up, and still make it into a party. Not a party, but a celebration that we're beautifying the city of Houston. So it's those type of little steps that I would take.
You know, Ivan, I want to thank you for coming on my show. I know that the election is right around the corner. It is November 7th, and that getting your message out, getting your name out, so that your potential constituents of, you know, even beyond those that usually vote, but the 230,000 that get to know you. I know that we have your website, we have your contact information. I want to wish you the best of luck in your grassroots efforts and getting the vote out. And I look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for the opportunity.
And now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back bringing news from the Capitol. I am Alina Gonzalez-Dockery, and I'll see you right back.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Welcome back to Purple Politics. From City of Houston Commissioner elections to the continuing dysfunction of Capitol Hill. We are talking about the Speaker of House race where Jim Jordan lost a second time. Now, when we say he lost, he was only able to garner 212 votes. He needs 217 to win the speakership. Let us remember that for McCarthy, it took 15 votes, and it was not until he made that fatal deal with Matt Gaetz of Florida that only one representative had to bring to vote to oust a speaker. This is where we find us. So yes, folks, the roller coaster ride that is our United States House of Representatives continues, where partisanship is still the name of the game and no one is willing to work with the other. And that is the problem. That is where we come into such a battle. Now, I will applaud those 22 Republicans that are holding out because they are concerned. And what is the concern? Is that Representative Jordan is an extreme right representative. He is very much a MAGA Trump supporting representative, and he had made statements from the congressional floors from the January 6th debacle of what some would say is an insurrection, but of the protest, to the point of denouncing the election results. This is a man that Republicans, moderate Republicans, and Republicans that are conservative but are also part of purple states are stating, we will suffer if he is speaker. Now let's talk about the reality. The reality is you have a Democratic side that is going to only vote for the Democrat. You're going to have the Republicans that are starting to do more back-wheeling and behind-the-door deals to try to gain favor. Jim Jordan lost 2 votes from the first round to the second round. Representative McCarthy, our former Speaker of the House, stated he estimated it would take about 3 to 4 votes until Jordan is the Speaker. And what are we discussing when it's time for a speaker? It's almost like a lame duck, if you will, position. The Speaker of House is only going to go through July of next year. Congress has to act. Congress needs to come together at a time where the clock is ticking on funding for our government. We have appropriations bills, even though they have been broken down into individual segments that still have to be voted on. We have a crisis internationally occurring with the Israeli-Hamas conflict and war, as well as the continuing war of Ukraine versus Russia. We have border security that is still up in the air, and we have a Congress that is deadlocked. And at this time, we wonder, as the citizens, as the constituents of these representatives, when is enough enough? Are they going to allow and come to a vote, which rumor has it may come to this, that some representatives are toying with the idea of bringing to a vote to allow Patrick T. McHenry, who is our representative from North Carolina and who is currently the pro tem Speaker of the House, to bring to a vote to allow the representative to have more powers, because currently this acting speaker only has the power to bring together the House of Representatives to vote for the new Speaker of House, which if we go to a situation like we saw earlier in January, we need someone who can bring the House of Representatives together to have instrumental rules and appropriations bills come forth to be voted on, to be debated, but also, more importantly, where there is aid being sought for Israel, for the civilians and residents of Gaza, for humanitarian aid. And what would that look like? Some believe that by allowing and coming to and voting in favor of allowing McHenry, Representative McHenry, to have broader powers as pro tem speaker, this will be seen as a win for the Democratic side, who are absolutely opposed to Jim Jordan as speaker, but also is an ability to see that the moderate representatives in the Republican Party, as well as conservative Republicans that are not so far right, that this will allow our government to proceed forward. Because we have to remember that so long as this House is crippled and unable to do its work, we the people are being cheated. We the people are the ones that are at a loss, because our Congress cannot do anything. It doesn't matter what the Senate does, because without the House, Congress cannot go forward. Without the House, no matter what is trying to be dealt with in the appropriations bill, from manning and securing our borders, from paying our military, for providing essential services through government, that cannot be dealt with. And we have a stop clock, and that stopwatch is ticking, ticking, ticking till mid-November, when that CR will come to an end. So once again, we are here. And once again, I am asking Congress, get your egos aside, look at what's in the best interest of the country. Because bottom line is, we are not solidly Democrat. We are not solidly Republican. We are the United States of America. We are one nation, and we need a government that is willing to go forward and do what it is elected to do, and that is govern, to provide the basic necessities for our civilians, to be able to be stewards of law and order, and also to show a strong front when we have international chaos all around us. So once again, we need diplomacy. We need an ability to come together and actually set aside this bifurcated political nonsense and realize what is in the best interest of our United States. I am Alina Gonzalez-Dockery. I am your hostess of Purple Politics. Thank you for joining me for another evening where we will come back, where we will continue to provide up-to-the-date international and national news. I bid you all a good night and a wonderful, safe, and blessed weekend.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide